Alright folks, we're back at it again. Back to painting the last building. For this set. Alright, so we got sills to do here. We've got a busted water pipe to the roof. And one there. Let's go ahead and do these. Let's go ahead and do these sills. Actually, I need to pick up this area. Let me spend a little bit of time picking up this area. It should be good enough. All right, for this, we're going to need that. And gray and the white. And while I'm thinking about it, let me go ahead and change it to the other chat. So this first color is always the one that takes the longest. And that's just because you got to get it in every little nook and cranny. This building has all lintels and sills as both. All right, so let's add more of this gray color, brighten this thing up, lighten it up. Oh man, I went all the way around and still missed this opening here. industrial type building of some sort. Sometimes you end up having so many things you just lose track of what you have. And one of those things this morning, I was looking through my spare parts and realized that I don't have to buy any plastic card. I got tons of it to, to put over these signs, so I could make them, Russian if I need to. Because unfortunately, these buildings have signs on them. I mean, I wish they didn't, but they do. I got all of those hotel key cards. The key cards when you stay in a hotel, I got a habit of collecting those things. Well, it's plastic card. You can use it for all kinds of different material, different uses. wouldn't have put the spackling and stuff in these places where it has it, but that's where this sculptor decided to make this building look the way it is. I'm gonna have to roll with it. And he's not a builder, he's a sculptor because he sculpted these molds. Let's keep going all the way around. Of all the buildings that I have from hovels, I would say this is probably the poorest one. There's vague details, there's window sills that aren't consistent size. Hey Marcus. Well, technically, yesterday was the first day back because I went in on Sunday at 9 a.m. I should preface it with I left everything done. But reconcile, make the changes, you know, things that didn't go according to plan, do billing for all that stuff, it's just stuff so I don't feel like I'm chased by wild dogs all day today. And that, and I don't want to I would have had to come in at like 2 or 3 in the morning or something like that to be able to move forward with the happenings of the current day and have some of the stuff done. So that's not doable. That's not doable. So I went in yesterday for about 5-6 hours, and there was people at the office yesterday. It was kind of luckily I didn't really get in my shit because that would have been a pain in the butt. I like going in on Sunday because there's nobody there, nobody in their right mind. Well, now we got some people that aren't in their right mind that show up on Sunday. I'm not a fan of going in on Saturday at all. Saturday is just like the first day you get a chance to have off. Like I need that day. I've had freaking 5 days in a row. Why would I work Saturday also and then take Sunday off? Like, nah, I'd rather do that. And it makes it more reasonable. I'm looking forward to not taking any time off, or not having these crises happen while I'm not there for quite some time. I think my next day off is at the end of September for the convention. But that's just one day, so it's more reasonable. You do the same thing. I don't mind doing it, but I don't conduct any business while I'm not at work. If I conducted business while I was at work, while I was away from work and went in on Sunday, that's just like, at that point you might as well just have your own fucking business. If you're working that much. But the worst thing to deal with is dealing with people that should be working for you. It's not dealing with customers. It's dealing with people who I'm their customer. You got to deal with all their bullshit. So that's constantly a bunch of interruptions, and there's things that you require like silence to do correctly. So that's the stuff you got to happen on times where nobody's there. That and the other thing that's kind of happened in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, we got cleaning people that come every day after the office, so you can't stay late. So if you stay late, you got, you can't freaking think because they got the freaking vacuums going. Even if I close my door and shit. So, like how the buildings are coming along. I've missed the live session, been catching up during hobby time. Yeah. Well, you've got other. I guess you have other things to do other than just sit here in my, when I'm available. Yeah, this is the last one. This is the last one until we take a break from them to do the trees for this scenario. Although I do need to get a barn that a panther is hiding in. I know you paid attention. Just like you said, hey, there's one that's going to be on fire. Yep. Okay. This ledge up here, we're going to do that to a similar color than what we just did. So let's go ahead and knock that out as well. Yeah, I know you're paying attention. Might only be you. You weren't one of the DVA people, were you? I lost a few subscribers. I'd gain one, lose one. Gain one, lose two. Lose three, gain two, But it's been a couple years since there's been a DBA video, and somebody actually messaged me and said, "Hey, I've been away from DBA for 20 years, and now I decided to get back into it. I like your videos. I hope there's more." I'm like, "Look, there's 200 fucking videos out there. Have you seen them all?" And no, there's not going to be more. I'm not ever, 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 ever going to play DBA again. I'm never going to play it. And may I play something similar to it? Maybe, at some point. I'm not anytime soon. But I'm not. I've done all I can with that. I'm not going to do more. Even if I had the energy for it, I'm not going to do it. Let other people do it. So I decided actually today did a search for DBA 3.0 and see if in the last 2 years when I made videos, did somebody go out and make a bunch of videos for it as well to make up for the fact that I wasn't making any new ones. Not really, you know. Um, so you know, I'm not bitter about it. Just at some point, and during that same time that I played, 18 years where I played DBA, so many people have come and gone and no longer play it. I'm like, I get a break too, folks. You know, and I may have still been playing it if certain conditions were different, but they're not. So it's time to move on. Just like you have a hobby time where you got to do it at certain times, there's just things that I've got to work on that just don't rely on, trying to please everybody. Contemplating a Jawila purchase. I was. I'm pretty disciplined when it comes to putting things in my shopping cart and not click buy. I'm really good at that. And yeah, I've got some bricks. I just haven't bought them yet because I want to get to the point where I've earned them. I mean, after all the buildings are done and then I get them then I can use them. But if I get them ahead of time, next thing you know, I'm tinkering with them and it distracts me from finishing this. So, you never lurk, always announce myself, dude. Catch up on old sessions. Yeah, last couple times, it's almost been like solo session. Like if somebody came on, it was like one person, and like that person left, it was like, okay, we don't have anything else to talk about. It's fine if people want to lurk. I just figure it's a way to interact with people, not call people out. Hey clown, what are you doing here? What? How come you're watching? I'm not interested in doing that. People want to remain anonymous. That's just fine. Well, the thing that appeals about Face of Battle, and I've played it before. I have not played the vehicle rules. I have played the infantry part enough that that's really what I want to do. If I come across something that I don't like, I'm prepared to change it. I don't give a shit. Um, if somebody says, "Well, you're not really playing Face of Battle," I said, "Well, that's okay. I already have a name for it. I already have a name for a rule set that if I had to come up with my own rule set, I know what it'd be called." But I don't mind playing this game and giving the author the credit that's due to them. I think they did a pretty good job. They got a lot of stuff covered. I don't think a lot of stuff is missing. One thing that I do want to instill is I'm fairly sure that the vehicles don't have a minimum range that the main armament can fire at. And I think due to the nature of this, it's kind of important. It's important for me. And I've talked about it before. You got a Sherman tank its gun is, I don't know how far in the air it is. Let's say it's 8 feet or 6 feet in the air, whatever, and it depresses a maximum of 10 degrees. How far can that shell land? There's a minimum distance there. I'm sure that's not in the rules, but we're talking about ranges when people are going to be clamoring. If tanks are going to show up, the infantry is going to be able to mix it up with them if they really want to. So, because the tanks really, if they're on the board, they're a little bit too close to the infantry. You'll read on these engagements, they'll be like, yeah, they opened fire at short range and it was 500 yards. Yeah, there's no 500-yard distance on the battlefield. An 8-foot by 8-foot table is like 200 meters by 200 meters. So it's pretty much close combat, you know. It's close combat all the time. And it might not be somebody else's thing, but it's mine, you know. I don't want to play a set of rules that doesn't reward me for putting all these details and the stuff that I'm painting. But yeah, anyway, so what I was getting back to, some people just, some people can't. Some people, I'm sure, that were ones that followed me for DBA stuff just stopped following me. It's, well, you know, there's some people that I would have. I'm sure there's. It's kind of stabilized now. So I guess there's some people that are interested in what I have to say or what I'm doing, regardless of what the theme is. And there's some people that if it's not ancients or medievals, they're not interested. And likewise, there's some people that are World War II people that they would have never come and joined the channel if all I was doing was ancients and medievals. So, you know, you just got to do what you do. There's all these videos out there. There's people that I think make a living on making making YouTube videos on how to do this, how to get more subscribers, how to do, you know, this, how to make thumbnails, how to do all that kind of stuff. I follow a couple of them. One guy in particular, actually from Australia, I forget what the hell his group is, but he's pretty succinct, and that's how I found out about the editor that I use for my videos, KineMaster. But he's constantly making videos. I mean, he's making like a video. These guys are making videos either every day or every other day or whatever. I'm not a video guy. I do a thing. This is caught underneath here. There we go. And, you know, I'm actually doing shit, not just making a video about how to do stuff. But they always got some kind of angle where they're, you know, you got to do this to get more subscribers, or you got to do this or this other thing, or, you know, and one of the things they almost all mention is just basically do your thing. Don't try to do things just to get subscribers. Just do what you do. People will come to your channel for what you have to offer, and that's really, you know, what it is. Honestly, it's too much effort trying to do other stuff. I already have a full-time job I don't particularly care for. There's no reason to add more full-time jobs that I don't particularly care for. So, okay, I don't quite want to mess with the roof yet because that's kind of its own thing. What else do we have on here? We've got the water pipe here, and we've got a water pipe here. Let's go ahead and do those two. I'm going to use a different color. Oh, not that green. Jeez, that's a bit much. Also not that one. I'm looking for like a field gray. Green something or another. This will work. That's what I'll use for this one. Yeah, one guy that I follow does car reviews. He puts out I swear he puts out 2 a day. He does a fantabulous job. But I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing for a living, because I know the kind of work that goes along with him. Him and his wife do it, so she's not really on camera. I don't think she showed up on camera in one of his videos, but I found this guy looking for reviews for the car I ended up buying, and I'm a fan of his shtick. But I'm pretty sure he does that for a living. Should have asked him when I met him at the car show last year. What's the year before that? I don't remember. Anyway, it was the highlight of that car show, was meeting him. And what I really liked is he acted the same way in person as he did in the video. Perfect. That's what I want. Be consistent. Oh, that's too bright. If you ever meet me, I hope you think, man, this guy, you're the same asshole in person as you are on the internet. Thank you. You got to do what you want to do, because you could be, hey, I'm going to do this game. I'm going to let all kinds of people teach them how to play this game, and the next thing you know, they don't show up. And it's happened to me so many times with DBA. I even made a video that how to teach somebody how to play the game, and this is somebody who I've known for a long time, and they finally came around to trying DBA. Figured we could gain another player. They showed up for one session. We did everything around them, and they never showed up again. And I think they had a good time, but who knows, so you got to do what you want to do, and because if you're not going to do this stuff for yourself, who's going to do it for you? So that's why I switched to videos, are basically to keep me entertained while I'm getting things accomplished. If there's any other kind of goal, it's just wasted, because I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know if people are interested in this kind of content. And at the end of the day, that's what the purpose of this is to get things accomplished. Although, I could probably go back and do Audible a little bit, because this book that I'm reading right now is really, really good. I actually didn't mind a 7-hour drive in the car because the book was so damn good. It kept me entertained. But I say that, and as soon as I start, trying to paint while listening to a book, I'm like, I'll get bored. But all right, that's another thing checked off the list. Okay, I've got some brick that I need to get on the inside of some of these windows. So let's do that next. And I'm going to get myself a refill while I'm thinking about it. Be right back. Need anything? Okay. Love you. A well-needed rain squall that came through just before I went online, and it's like sunset. You look out there, it just looks like a completely different day. But man, we need the rain. We really do. We had like a month where it pretty much didn't rain. Now we're getting a little bit every other day, so much better. All right, let's get Brick Red out here. See what that slacker's hanging out. kind of careful with this and not undo anything that I've done. Okay, and I will look at this side here. I'll take that same side and I'm going to flip it over and get the other edge of this. Okay, we'll pick this wall. It's a rather small wall. Head down to Virginia tomorrow. Your mom mentioned the same about lack of rain. She said it's going to be almost 100 degrees on Wednesday. Well, New York is pretty hot too. I mean, somebody told me that you don't want to go to the city when it's hot because you get all kinds of smells and stuff. And like when I went to New York a couple of years ago during wintertime, I was thankful it didn't rain because there was all kinds of soot and shit and just city filth, like big city metropolitan filthy shit. Yeah, I wouldn't want to like any of that kicking up. So that, and you'd be hopping from one place to another with it raining and, you know, dripping off buildings. I mean, rain's clean, but not if it's dripping off dirty ass buildings. Have you cleaned your dirty ass building today? You know? All right, now we're going to take this same color. We're going to add some white to it. And then we're going to go over those same areas. Yeah, well, South Florida got a shitload of rain like 2 weeks ago. Like people almost like swimming and stuff, but it stopped short of here. There's like half an hour south of us, pretty much stayed dry as shit. The Hoffman, finally you appear again. Oh, finally. I got tired of rubbing that lamp to see if you were going to show up. The Hoffman. Man, I got stuff to talk to you about. First of all, you need to keep giving me movie recommendations because we're on the same page, my friend. Or you figured me out or something. So the last time you were on, you mentioned about Wicker Man. And whatever day that was before my trip. But I'm like, well, the following morning, I'm like, let's see if that's available. And I'll be damned, it was. It was available on Amazon. And I checked it early enough that I sat there and watched the whole thing before I went to work the next day. Yeah, and got to see it. And I've been waiting ever since to talk to you about it. I finally got tired of waiting for you. I had to bring up my thoughts on after seeing it, which is on video. But if you don't watch my videos after the fact, then you don't know what the hell I thought. So I'm going to assume that you haven't watched those. So it'll be a breath of fresh air. And you know what I really liked about it is it wasn't a horror movie. Because if it was a horror movie, I wouldn't watch it. Because it puts ideas in your head. But again, another movie that could be solved, the guy'd be alive if he had a firearm. That's all it would have taken. I thought it was pretty good. But that is, you've given me two recommendations and they have similarities. The similarities of those two recommendations are, if I had seen that movie, if I'd seen The Wicker Man when I was like 13 or 14 years old, Um, that movie really would have fucked me up. I don't mean like I would have turned into a serial killer or something, but it would have really disturbed me. Um, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be a police officer, I don't want to wear the uniform. I want to carry the firearm. That's the kind of police officer I am. I'm not going to wear all that uptight shit and a uniform that was designed by somebody else and but not have a firearm. That's stupid. But the similarities with the two things you and I'm going to switch to a bigger brush here. What you recommended is basically as a kid you trust adults to be like a well, okay. When I grew up, adults were wise and a sign of reason. There was crackhead adults too. The problem is you didn't hear about them. Okay, now that's all you hear about is all these freak shows that are running around. But when I was a kid, I mean, my dad was a pretty set in his place guy. He's somebody you could count on, dependable, trust. I don't expect adults to be go crazy. But the Wicker Man. You know what it reminded me? You like the unreliable narrator. Yeah, no, it's the similarity of it. It reminded me of this movie. I think it was a movie, or maybe it's a short film or something that I watched in junior high in the mid '80s. And it was an old thing by then, and it was called The Lottery, and it's in black and white. And basically, The Lottery is this, and it's almost like filmed like a home movie or something like that. It's in black and white, so I guess now we're up to like 5 things in black and white I've seen. Yeah, that movie would have given me trust issues. Absolutely. As an adult, I'm like, yeah, people are fucked up. I need to. Not only would I had a firearm, but I'm gonna have like multiple magazines just for you untrustworthy fucks. What I didn't like about the movie, okay, was that the more time I see Christopher, I just don't like Christopher Lee. But anyways, he was fine in that. But I did not like the name of it because 85% of the way through the movie, I still hadn't figured it out. Okay, I don't watch those type of movies to try to figure it out. I'm just kind of along for the ride, and I do like the fact that you're figuring things out at the same time the main character is. And had the movie been called something other than The Wicker Man, I would not have figured out that he ended up being the sacrifice until bam it happened. And I didn't figure it out too far in advance. But when that girl ended up, turning on him, I'm like, "Oh fuck. This guy didn't deserve this shit." You know? And it ups, especially if you're a kid, as an adult, you know that there's not every, when you're a kid, everything has a happy ending, or at least, people get what they got coming to them within the movie. And in that, those people got away with it. You'll be back. Need help with some packing. Okay. Pack away. I've done plenty of packing in the last couple weeks. Don't make me help you. But had the movie been called something else, that twist at the end, like The Village, would have been really memorable. But still, I thought it was a good movie. I didn't know what The Wicker Man was until you knew it was a sacrifice thing. Yeah, I knew it was a sacrifice thing. So, but again, I'm just enjoying the dialogue. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed it. Thank you for that. And I'm not going to watch the Nicolas Cage version because, remakes suck, pretty much. But whatever night that was, call it Wednesday night, on Thursday morning, I woke up at my normal 5 o'clock and I'm having breakfast. And I'm like, let me see if somebody has The Wicker Man. I'm like, holy shit, it's on Amazon. Yeah, there I go. It's like, how long is it? It's an hour and this. I said, I can get through it. And I did, just in time. So, I didn't care for the singing. That's the only thing. Like, that's bad freaking singing. But and the other thing that didn't make any sense to me is that why was the if the guy needed to be a virgin, why was she trying to like entice him? You know, like what if he would have gone for it? Then he wouldn't have been able to be a virgin. I don't know. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good movie. So any kind of recommendations that are like that, the thing is it makes you think, and that's what I like. I like things that make you think. So you're trying to not necessarily trying to figure out who did it, but like what exactly is going on. You know, that's why I enjoy many of the. That's why I enjoyed season one of Stranger Things. That's why I enjoyed many episodes of. Shit, no, I can't think of what it's called. The one that's on Netflix that has that I've mentioned several times. It's science fiction, but it's in the future. In the near future. Black Mirror. That's why I like Black Mirror. You're figuring stuff out as you go. You're not just like, you know, yeah. That was an interesting movie. That was an interesting movie. And then, of course, the geography part of me is like, all right, where's this island? Where's it supposed to be? It's just some make believe thing, you know. Oh, just another movie where Christopher Lee's a dickhead. He's there's some people that are just like that. They show up in a movie, they're going to be they're going to be a dickhead. They know they're going to be somebody that you can't trust. In the 80s, it used to be this guy called, oh, what's his first name? Is it Ronnie? Ronnie Cox? Remember, he's the bad guy in RoboCop. Anytime he shows up, he's a dickhead. Like, he's always a dickhead. Michael Ironside's a little bit like that as well. Season one of Stranger Things is one of the best things I've seen in a long time. And that one scene in the pool, episode 3 or 4, was really borderline. Like, if they would have shown what happened, I don't know if I'd continue watching it, because then it starts going into horror. But I thought it was really good. I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was really good. The other thing I really liked about Stranger Things season 1 is the kids are kids. They're not like how all the kids, like, everybody's a wussy, everybody's scared of everything except, the kids. They're the ones that are brave. Like, look, I've been a 12, 11-year-old, 13, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kid before. You're scared of shit. It's okay, You can't be, bulletproof. So, the fact that, kids are braver than adults is just ridiculous. And most movies do that, And that just, like, yeah, season 1 was really, really good. If something like that movie comes to mind, I'll be sure to tell you. It's hard to come by something. It is. It is. There's stuff that makes you think, My favorite movies have all had something like that. That's just, that movie Memento. I don't know that it's a very good movie. I don't think that the plot is that great, but you're constantly thinking, like, okay, if this is this, oh, this happened before that. Oh, I mean, you're like, it's cool, And there was a lot of effort making that movie. Which is why they haven't made another one like that. That like, that was like kudos to making that thing. But it's rare to come across something that really makes you think. Not solve stuff, I'm terrible about solving things. My daughter and my wife will have it all figured out. Oh, we knew that guy was going to do it. Why? I could see it coming. I said, I couldn't. I'm just enjoying the movie. Yeah, I don't do horror, but I'll do thriller stuff. You know, one movie that I saw twice in the movie theater, and I watched it again. I'm like, my daughter's old enough to watch this, and technically it's horror, but it's not. Was Misery, and I watched it in the last year, and I thought it still held up really well. I thought it still held up really well. Again, a firearm would have solved the situation. You know, a good guy with a gun scenario, not bad guy with a gun that makes the situation worse, but good guy with a gun. Sometimes the good guy with a gun doesn't solve the problem because you get somebody like that guy in Saving Private Ryan that freezes on the staircase and he's got a firearm and doesn't do anything with it. Well, luckily, folks like that are few and far between because, man, you want to know somebody who was angry, that dude? My daughter was ready to castrate that guy. My teenage daughter was calling that dude out, letting all his buddies suffer. I think I've seen it as a teenager, but I can't remember. Yeah, it doesn't take me long to forget a movie and be able to watch it again. But I have a hard time getting really excited about watching television because usually there's not much there. You know, there's a movie on Netflix that's literally my kind of movie. That came out with it, and I'm gonna spoil it for you because I don't think anybody deserves to watch this. If you haven't seen it, do not watch this movie. And it's called something like "This Is How It Ends." And I watched it as soon as it came in. I watched the preview. I'm like, oh, this is like one of these end of the world type things, but not supernatural, just like society breaking down. And it's got Forrest Whitaker in it. I like Forrest Whitaker. Oh, let's watch this. And the first half of the movie is excellent. And the second half of the movie is probably like a perfect example of like how they ran out of money. They just like completely ran out of money. Like, well, we need to shore this up. And basically, they don't. It's vague as to what exactly happens. And you could surmise what it is, but it was just felt really flat, and I felt robbed. I felt like I deserved something to happen. It was like worse than Cloverfield. Like left me completely hanging. I'm like, what a fucking waste of time. And I'm not an evil person where I'm like, well, I'm not gonna. This sucks, but I'm not gonna tell anybody that it sucks. I'm like, no, man, save your 2 hours of your lifetime. You might come up with some amazing discovery that helps the human race, and instead of being wasted watching this stupid fucking show. But that was really really disappointing. Um, I was gonna say something that actually was really good. I forgot what the hell it is. But yeah, don't watch that. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. Have I seen Idiocracy? I've not. I have not. I've had several people recommend it to me. Um, I have not, but I don't think I need to because just turn on the news. No, I have not seen it, but I've had several people recommend it to me. Okay, that's looking better. And I don't know why I was fretting over these signs so much. I got tons of this stuff that I can use magnet stuff too, just to put a new sign over. I'm gonna paint them in French, and if I need them for Russians, then I'll make some signs that we'll paint over them with Russians. God, what was I gonna say? What was the thing? How it has chlorophyll? Yeah, I forget exactly what it was. But it's rare I encounter something that's like, this is amazing. I gotta let people know that this is grand. So we have this roof, okay? The roof, we're going to do some the same tile color as all these little tiles that are slinging around everywhere. Okay. Then I go on another trip. We went on a cruise. It just happened to be that they were back to back. We did the trip to Mexico for my wife's birthday. She wanted to do something for her. She has a big number birthday that came up that she doesn't look that age of it. I tell her it's not that you don't look that age. It's that everybody that age looks terrible. But we don't exactly have substance abuse problems, fortunately, unless eating is a substance abuse. That's my substance abuse, is eating. But went to Mexico and then turned around 2 weeks later and went on the cruise tried a new cruise line, did a shorter cruise than we've ever done before. I've never done a 5-day before. It's always been a week. And fortunately, it was long enough. It certainly felt like I felt like I was gone a month, which I guess ultimately worked out pretty well because I didn't have to be gone for a month. I'd have to do a month's worth of work before I left. But okay, so most of this is going to be roof. And then there's some inside stuff here that I repaired. So I think I'm going to be vague about the coloring of this. I'm going to go ahead and do the floor. Actually, I'm going to do the inside first. Then we'll come back and do the floor, and then we'll do the roof. So I told my wife I'm not doing 2 vacations as close together. It was just pure chaos. It's ultimately just has to do with just how much shit you got to get done before you can go. So, but it went well, even though one of the days the seas were kind of rough. Nothing I'm scared of. I'm thinking, there's people out there scared of this shit. That's payback for me white knuckling when we get on a plane. I'm not scared of the damn ocean. I haven't had a bad experience, I've never gone on a cruise. Those ships look massive. Got a vacation coming in August. Can't wait. They're big and they're not. It's just, you forget you're on one. You forget you're on a ship. We did a new cruise line on the smallest ship I've ever been on. It was only 110,000 tons. I think the one previous to that was the smallest. I did like a 130. And I did the 130 when it was the biggest ship in the world at the time. So... the bigger the ship is, the more stuff there is to do on it. People are like, I don't like that many people. I said, okay, but if you have a ship with a lot of stuff to do, those people get dissipated in a bigger area. It'd be like, I'm going on a rowboat that only has 3 people on it. Okay, well, there's only one thing you do on a rowboat. Fucking row, okay? And everybody's there in front of you. So, you've got, if you go different places and dissipate, what I said, I was going to do the walls, and I ended up doing the floorboard. I don't listen to me. I don't. So, but they do make cruises that are all different sizes. So if you don't like the huge ships, you can get one with the smaller ships. But for me, cruising is never about the destination. It's always about the ship. Well, how could you say that? I said, well, okay. Do you go to Vegas because it's in the middle of the fucking desert? Or do you go to Vegas because there's fucking shows there? Well, I'm sure some people go to Vegas because it's in the middle of the fucking desert, but I've never been, so. I'm just surprised how many people are suckers for gambling. We do on one. I think I would eat a lot. Well, here's the thing about eating, okay? The reason I'm gonna use myself as an example. I don't want to talk for other people. I don't mean anybody outside my family. I just mean people in general. I have poor eating habits because when you're at work, you've got a lot of time where you can't eat in between periods of eating. So you eat too much when you eat. The fact that food is available all the time, everywhere, encourages you to eat smaller, more frequent meals, which is ultimately better for us. Um, and So for me, I always lose weight on a cruise ship. Mine will be a pound or two. I didn't weigh myself this time. I actually don't think I lost weight this time, but um, this cruise did something a little different than one I've ever been on. Usually we get the drink package, which basically means you can drink anything you want. Um, and this time they didn't do that. You couldn't actually buy that. They gave you a credit. So when you signed up, you got a $300 credit per cabin for drinks, which sounds like a lot, but when drinks are $15 a piece and you're going for 5 days, you could burn through that really fast if you're not paying attention. Well, it was the last evening, and I have a visitor. Hold on one second. The So it was the last night, and we still had half of our credit to use. So we're like, man, we gotta I felt like I was drinking as much as I wanted to. There's no reason to overdrink, so we ended up like buying cologne. My wife stocked up on beauty products because they got shops and stuff there. They got high end shops on there, but the casino is probably the smallest casino I've ever seen on a cruise ship. And you want a casino to be on a cruise ship because it basically, they know they're going to be like, okay, well, we're gonna rape some people on the cruise ship by them losing all this money. So that actually subsidizes my cruise to be cheaper because they know they're going to rape 30% of the people that gamble. I don't know what percentage of the people gamble on a cruise ship. It's probably not a huge amount. I know there's a lot of people like me that just like whatever. Have fun flushing money down the toilet. Um, but yeah, I usually don't overeat because food's available all the time. It's not like get everything you can because this closes and you're not going to be able to eat again until 5 o'clock. So, and I eat too much on a regular basis at one time. I know I do, but right. So we're gonna do the attic. The attic is probably a shitty ass color. So let's not do this. Let's do this one. Vegas looks. What's Vegas? What's Vegas look? Vegas looks dirty, and I don't gamble. I'm not going to disagree with you. And I've never been to Vegas, but when I think of Vegas, I think of people that have a bunch of substance abuse problems. They're either drunks, or they're into gambling, or they're into prostitution. I don't know. It seems dirty. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Um, um, yeah, and I'm not a prude, but I also don't need to be around people that aren't controlled by their brain. You know, um, I drink, but I don't do stupid. I don't think I've ever done anything stupid while drinking. You don't need to. You just sit in a corner and, and enjoy the ride. Although I don't think I even had a buzz on this cruise at any particular time. What types of people do you usually see on a cruise ship? So here's the interesting thing. We always cruise in November because that's when our anniversary is. This is the first time we cruised in the summer, and the people that were on the cruise ship, where they came from that was vastly different. Generally, in November, we run into people from Europe, lots of people from the Northeast escaping the cold. This time, at least half the people were from Florida. Now, I don't want to promote my state because Lord knows we have enough people living here and we're overcrowded, but it seemed to me that the people were a lot happier. I don't mean that just because they were from Florida. It just seemed like they were a lot happier. Average cruise age on a cruise, I would have to say would be, well, this was an 18 and above cruise only. I would say, I don't know what the average is, probably early 50s, I would think. There's people that are really old. There's people that are in bad shape that want to go there to eat. There's some people that are like at the gym all the time. I mean, it's just all walks of life. Very few single people. You're going to encounter, mostly couples or this one probably had a higher percentage of same-sex couples than I'd ever seen before, which I don't care. It's just kind of like, they're a small percentage of the population, and when they make up like 33% of all the people on a ship, it's like stands out, So, but whatever. I think that's a common vacation for them or what have you. But people seem to be generally happier, I think. I get pissed when I see the news that Vegas is running out of water. It's like, no shit, it's a freaking desert, yeah. Remember the old Sam Kinison about people in Ethiopia starving? People sending them food. Send them a U-Haul. Get the fuck out of here. It's a desert. We have a little bit of spackle or something here on the side of this. I'm not sure what color to do that. Tell you what, we already got this brown color in front of us. Let's go ahead and add a base color of that while we have it here. I don't know if Vegas is physically dirty, but mentally it just seems like I just wouldn't fit in there, And we almost went one year, but then the COVID happened and things fell apart. We're going to go with another couple that's really familiar with Vegas, but I'm not interested in the gambling. I am interested in the where you can get a drink and walk down the sidewalk with it. Not that I need to be drinking all the time, but that's just another version of freedom. I get a hard on for freedom. Anything that allows me to, like, basically nobody telling me what to do. Like, I got a good head on my shoulders. I'm not going to do anything stupid, so I get a thrill about stuff like that. I had that comedian in my head when I typed desert. That's a great bit. I remember when he died. I want to say it was the late 90s, and it was over in that area, and he got hit head on by a truck. Yeah. I like comedians who get angry, that are full of vigor, vigorous comedians. Okay, so we're going to do the roof with a little bit of blue in it. The blue tinted roof. pushing hard on this. Yeah, when you get put in a situation where the demographics of people are not what you're used to, it just kind of feels kind of weird. You know, whether you could be somewhere and be like, man, where's all the black people? Like, there's no black people here, you know, or whatever, you know. I went to Canada. I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of Asians here, you know, like visitors, you know, and like no Canadians. We've had a hard time finding Canadians. You know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just, it kind of like, what's going on here? You know, what's the meaning of this? Okay. Now we'll add some blue to this. My girlfriend wants to do a cruise. I'm still on the fence about it. You should do it. So my advice on the cruise is this. Don't go on Holland America because you'll never be that old. If you stick to Norwegian or Royal Caribbean or I didn't even know Virgin had a cruise line until we went on it, honestly. But they've only been around for a little bit. Honestly, I thought the Virgin Cruise Line would have been a little bit more like a Hard Rock hotel, a bit more music heavy, because but it's not that much different than anything else. But my advice on the go on a high tier cruise. Don't go on something that's don't go on Carnival. God help you. Don't go on. If you may enjoy going on Carnival, I would rather not go on a cruise than go on Carnival. I've seen the people get off of a Carnival cruise ship, and it's a bit Walmarty for me. And don't go on a vessel that's really old, because got rain. Holy shit! Looks like it. Good. We need that. Going on a Carnival cruise ship and not enjoying cruising is like saying, well, I went out to eat. I didn't like it. Well, where'd you go? McDonald's. Like, if I move up to New Hampshire, I think I'm going to be surprised at the demographics. San Antonio is 55% Hispanics. Yeah, I can speak the language, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to like talking to my wife and saying a couple things like in Spanish, and it's like a code. Like nobody can overhear you. Like there, it's like you lose your secret code. Everybody's cracked ultra there. Like, well, that's no fun. Yeah, New Hampshire's like, I think New Hampshire, Vermont is like the whitest place of all of them, like 95%. Which I don't have a problem with anything. It's just not what you're used to. Take some getting accustomed to. There we go. There we go. Let's bring some of this. Let it rain. Better now than while I'm at work. I do not like rain while I'm working. It creates all kinds of issues for me. I prefer a place with a lot of Asians. That might get me in trouble with a girlfriend. Well, what if they're ones that you don't find attractive? Are you attracted to all Asians? Is your girlfriend Asian? Asianish? For a place with when I think of cruise ship, I do think Walmart people. Yeah, well, you know, there's Walmart people everywhere. You go to Disney, there's Walmart people. There's decent families that go to those places too. You know, you just when I go in November, it was always a bunch of Midwesterners named Barb. You know, some lass that was 50 and looked like she was 70. So. When I go on vacation, I like going places where people know how to behave. Common courtesy, you know, none of this, you know, getting into fights over whose parking spot it is, that kind of stuff. I don't care what country you're in. You know, I don't have a high tolerance for people that want to be dickheads. You know, people that cut in line or on their damn phones on what do you call that thing? The FaceTime in the middle of a fucking store with their volume all the way out. You know, it's like I don't like shit like that. Oh man, yeah, let it rain. Just don't lose power. Now, let's put this on here and see what we're looking at. Yeah, what are we looking at? It's a freaking building. And we're going to wash some things on here to make this look a little bit more even. People on FaceTime in public. I don't even have FaceTime. That's for them Chinese phone using people. My wife's always, when are you going to get an Apple phone? I said, why? Your battery runs out, your battery doesn't work. You know, you get disconnected. We're on a cruise ship and her phone wouldn't turn on. You better QC. Or, you know, live somewhere like in Miami where, you know, you're waiting for a parking spot. Somebody takes it and flicks you off. And they take your parking spot and even flick you off. Like, no. Gonna do some grocery shopping. Well, have fun with the plebs. All right, so we got this here. Yeah, this just doesn't fit well. It's like this wall's too thick. I don't know if there's a problem with the mold. I'm certainly not going to go in there and grind it. Like, okay, I don't need to, you know, build something out of nothing, you know, but we'll tinker with this when we start doing the wash part, which we're really close to being to starting to do that. We've got these roof tiles that have fallen over. We're going to use the same color. Let's paint these little tiles here. I could spend a whole episode talking about cruising. And it's not for some people, but I tell you what, you're guaranteed to have a hotel that has modern, spoiled American type things like air conditioning and a bed that's relatively comfortable. I thought the bed was pretty comfortable. And the cruise ship beds are really, really thin, but they're made in a certain way where they give you enough support. It's not like you're sitting on a piece of cardboard or anything like that. And you go to some other hotel, you don't know what you're going to get. Although the bathroom in this one was particularly small, but they're just two of us. We could work around it. Not that big of a deal. Now, there's something that fell here. Okay, if you look at this, it's something that's there. I don't know how I'm gonna paint that. I think I'm gonna have to paint that like it's part of the wall or something like that. So I'll probably come in and paint it white or something. It's in the middle of the floor right there. Almost looks like a mistake or something. And let's not forget the ones that we have over here. Okay. Now we're going to take the same color, add a little bit more blue to it, and then we'll have a white to lighten it up. Even though these tiles aren't the same as the ones on the roof. The ones on the roof are significantly smaller. Let's add a little bit more blue to it. And a little bit more white, lightening it up. Pick out some of these things. one person, one loyal person. I'll be right back. I gotta use a little rest. I gotta use the restroom. Right back. Okay. So looks like we got some wooden stuff around that. So I'm probably going to use, just so that it kind of makes sense to me, I'm going to use some of this. You got kind of like a frame here of some form. Okay. And we're probably going to have to paint the top of this too, since it's sitting inside of where the roof is. It's just looking weird since it's the fit on it is kind of piss poor. What did I do with that mix I just did? Sometimes you can have too many things going on here and it's hard to tell where you left off at. Yeah, this should work. Okay. Okay, now it looks better because all this is kind of tied in together. Since this roof does not cover it completely. Now let's lighten this color up here with some white. Now that's the nice thing about painting. Some of these things that are damaged, you could kind of go a little bit impressionistic, and it works. And then let's lighten up a little bit more. All right. So this is probably the shoddiest one of these buildings. A couple of like the downtown ones, one of them doesn't fit really well either. But it'll do the job. All right. So we're going to take this black wash, and then we're going to come in and highlight some of these corners, or add shadows to some of these corners. More like it. So remember that this piece comes off. have that piece off the roof that I need to, that paint that was in the middle of that floor. Now let's go to the roof here. And of course, we need to do the outside of this building as well. Going to draw up a little line here beside this tile. where's the other pipe that goes to the roof? Here it is. Or they used to go to the roof. Okay. I think this is where we're going to stop with this one. Let's put some normal size glasses. See what we got here. Other than the signs and a little bit of, like, if I want to do some like weathering, like algae or something like that, that's pretty much all of them done. And now I can consider maybe getting some of those bricks from Juila. And hopefully they'll work. I'm probably going to have to doctor the colors no matter what I get. So, hey Rick. But I got a fair number of these that have marquees. This one has a big sign here. This one has a big sign here. This one has a sign here, which is the smallest one. And I want to say there's one more. 1, 2. One, 2, 3. Maybe it's just 3. I was thinking it was 4. That's good. Let it be like less than that. And it's not because I don't want to paint the signs. Actually, that's kind of exciting. I just have to decide what they're going to be. You know, so now other than these buildings, this is all I'm going to do for now for that scenario. I do have the 2 city ones that are just like freaking massive. And I said, you know, I can't do those until I got to do these before I got to worry about this. This actually has a sidewalk on it. And these are going to end up having a little bit of a sidewalk, kind of like this thickness on there. You could do a whole scenario in here. This would be like a role-playing game, you know, like find the thing. So these will take a while to do. I've got that one, and the one that's either next to it or across the street is even bigger. Tenements or whatever. So, yeah. So anyways, now I've got a lot of experience doing these. I haven't sealed them. And every time I seal something, so it turns out better. And of course I have this also. This is the shop that's actually in good shape. So, anyhow. So once I do these marquees, make the signs for whatever the hell these places are. This is a huge sign for half of a building or something like that, but Once we get that done, then we'll move on to doing the trees. That's gonna be the make it or break it. I'm pretty confident in my abilities. I think I'm gonna come up with something that'll work out, be pretty cool and unique. And you don't have to worry about those stupid bases on the trees because they're really, really distracting. I'm not a fan of them. So, oh, and of course, I have to repair this. I actually did not finish this building, but this one actually got damaged in traveling. It's nearly finished. So, anyhow, we'll do that. Now, let me show you a building that I did many years ago. I did this probably 20 years ago, and it actually looks okay, but now I'm going to have to repaint it. And this is actually a 15 millimeter building. I use this as kind of like a little shed. What I'm going to end up toning down this yellow. It's just a little too like happy, you know. So gonna be such an epic table. Yeah. Well, the whole thing isn't going to be a town, but there does need to be a town there. You know, this looks really convoluted, but not if it's on one part of a 6 foot, an 8 foot by 8 foot table. You know, we're going to do some roads. We're going to do some MDF roads. We'll try to see how long I can get away with doing those. These are 1 foot sections, so I'm probably going to do 1, 2, 3. I don't know if I can get away with doing 2 foot at a time, but that'd be nice. I don't want to use felt for this stuff. So, anyhow, roads will be after the trees. You got to get the trees good. Like right now, I look at this and I'm like, okay, I'm pumped up. Like let's get something going, right? I mean, it looks good. So let's bring the trees to the same level where we're really happy with it. And of course, you know, the troops look just fine on them. You know, so anyhow, it's going to be one of those games where you're only going to run like 3 guys, so, or 3 people. War Games Illustrated is going to be reaching out to take some pics. Well, maybe they'll have to reach out to me. I don't want to do a lot of. I thought about writing an article about to one of the things, and they want to just. I'm not a writer, you know. Come watch my videos for free, kind of thing, you know. So, but there's an opportunity to doctor these things up a lot, even with what they just have. Like for instance, this one when I did not read the description properly. This is actually a building that's missing something. It's missing this floor here. This original floor had, and I can only tell that by looking at the hovels site. It has a vertical wall that sits in this indentation, and it supports. You see, there's a tiny little ledge here. There's some kind of a ledge, maybe only an inch wide or something like that, and it was supported by this. Well, I can build that and do whatever the hell I want with it. You know, really. I mean, it's just. But I don't want to get bogged down on those details right now. But there's other levels you can add to them, just with what's here, using basswood relatively easily. You know, we've got a, you know, here, there's a little ledge here for some reason. You could just almost do like a little corner here, and there could be a little roost for some guy to stand and shoot out that window. So. Anyhow, I think I'm ready to do the bricks because I'm going to need probably a lot of bricks that I'm just going to use as scatter terrain, just so that they look lived in. So, not necessarily glued anywhere in here, but you know, around the ground and stuff like that. And when it's time to clean up, you know, you scoop all that stuff up and you go. Like this looks really good to me. This color right here looks really, really good. It just turned out really well. Yep. And you know, I'd almost say it's effortless. It does take time, it takes dedication, but there's nothing on here where I'm just sitting there, you know, and like figuring out what the hell am I going to do here, you know? But so far, so good. So far, so good. My only gripe, I would say, is that I don't know that it looks very French. But, you know, it is what it is. I looked at that destroyed town, and it's all full of red brick, so, you know. Well, it is what it is. So, but anyhow, this is where we're going to stop for this evening, and we'll catch you guys on the next one later on in the week. Thanks for stopping by. See you later, folks. Bye bye.